Hi guys, welcome back to my home series. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the garden and the plans that I've got once the house is ours in the new year. To catch you up, I have got a full Q&A about the house situation for those of you that got questions, because you're going to have questions. It's a strange situation. We've lived with my parents for the last 4 years in a house that we bought to live in together. The plan was that we were going to move. We're not moving anymore. Now they're moving. We're keeping the house. And I've got a million different plans for the different areas of the house. The dog's come to sit underneath me because he's very confused every time I start just randomly talking. He definitely thinks I'm talking to him. So, I'll link that Q&A. I'll also link the video that I've done with the plans for all of the downstairs, the kitchen. I'm so excited about the living room. I've slightly changed the plan since then, and the bedroom and the office closet space. All of that I've already talked about. Today, we're talking specifically about the garden, and I've got a very specific vision about this, but it's kind of ever-changing because I don't really spend a lot of time in the garden, but there are certain elements that really work with what I want. So I've got my computer in front of me with like the pictures that I'm going to show you, just to remind me what I want to talk about. So number one, we recently got the garden returfed because we had a massive swimming pool, just like a put-up swimming pool in there during lockdown. It was a 16-foot, like 16 foot wide. It was easily as tall as me, or just less than me, because I could kind of look over the side. It was maybe to this, so it was probably just under 5 foot, I would guess. Terrible with measurements, but I would guess. It was very tall. It needed a ladder to get into it, and it was amazing for what it was, but it did ruin the grass. So we've had the grass relayed on half of the garden, and what I am thinking of is where the grass has come up to, where it's been fully relayed. In fact, let me just have a look at the pictures. Yeah. Where it's been relayed to, I'm thinking of graveling, because I don't want to spend money on repaving everything right now. I don't really like the paving slabs that we've got, so I don't want to add more. But I was thinking of kind of graveling to that section just to increase the space we've got, and also because of a fire pit, but we'll talk about that in a second. So this is the garden that we've got right now. That's the grass area. Possibly talking about doing fake grass in the future, but not right now because we've just returfed. My main dream moment was off the back of the house. So I'm obsessed with everything New England, everything kind of, that kind of like beachy, coastal, East Coast American vibe. Everything with sidings and paneling and whitewashed, and I love it so much. And I wanted to incorporate as much of that as I could into the kitchen, diner, and the garden, because that will all feel kind of like one cohesive space. And I got in my mind that I wanted a back porch. It's an insane thing. It's definitely the kind that I would want. It's not even on, there's just no way. It's way, way, way more expensive than anything that I would possibly actually do anytime soon. But I got it in my mind that this is what I wanted. And then I was looking for alternatives, and kind of a pergola type situation off the back of the house would work. I found one that would be absolutely perfect. It is kind of porch-like without it being totally fenced in, and potentially more affordable, still very expensive. And the thing with this is a lot of the light that comes into that area comes in through the back of the house, and I don't really want to shade it too much. So I found one that had a clear top, thought maybe this would work. The other thing is you are affixing it to the side of the house, so it is a permanent structure, and it feels like, what if you hate it, if you take it away, what is the brick going to look like? I was kind of concerned about those things, beyond the fact that the cost is going to be high. So this was kind of my dream. I was thinking this is going to be amazing. I can like just step out onto this. It's going to feel very American-y, and I love it. And then I thought, perhaps this is a terrible idea. I can accept that it possibly is a terrible idea. And I kind of reconsidered, because we do have an outbuilding in the garden that's got electric, heat, internet cables, everything run into it, that my dad's been using as a bar. So it's an outdoor shed, but it's more than a shed. It's more like a summer house. More than a summer house. It's a full outdoor room. So then I was looking for kind of inspiration of like how I can use this, because effectively the way that I would want to use that porch, that's what this room will be used as. It's not something that I have had much use of since we've had it, because obviously it's my parents' space. But I was thinking, well, maybe if I wanted to sit outside but be covered, it would be in there. Also, if I did want to do something with like a a pergola or a kind of porch type thing, I could do it off this, and then it's not impacting the house. I could potentially do something a little bit more put up, something a little bit less permanent feeling. I can still do the lights and stuff that I want from that. But I was getting some inspiration online for what I would want to do with this structure instead of focusing on this like dream back porch that I'm probably not going to do. Paint wise, I love these, like the whites, the greys, maybe even like some black accents. I really, really like. Totally fits into that New England vibe that I love. This wooden panelled, I mean, all of it. We've got the little shed to the side, which is actually storage, and then this room. All of this I can totally use to fit in with this theme that I love. Now, planting wise, I love hydrangeas. They're pretty much the only flower that I absolutely am obsessed with. I don't think they're particularly difficult to look after. I was looking last night about when the best time is to plant them, whereabouts in the garden is the best place to plant them. I was asking my dad because he's quite an avid gardener. My grandma was like, she used to sell flowers. She had like just miles of greenhouse in her garden. So they really know their stuff when it comes to garden stuff. So I'm lucky to have that kind of resource. So he'll be able to help me with like placement and when best to do these things. But what we originally wanted was mostly grasses. So stuff that was perennial, is that the right word? Just always there, looks nice, doesn't really need anything in terms of like a lot of care, lots of like grassy stuff. But I do want to throw in some hydrangeas because I love that so much. A little bit of flora if I can get it. And that definitely, again, feeds into that whole New England vibe. So like beachy, grassy stuff with hydrangeas is totally cool. The other thing I think will really anchor that look is the Adirondack chairs. Am I saying that correctly? People talk about the Adirondacks, and that's like upper, like New York, right? Is that right? Upstate New York, I think, maybe. That kind of area. And so again, East Coast, kind of Hamptonsy, kind of New Englandy love. And I love this style of chair. They are not cheap. But I thought, I love that anyway. But I also really, really like the fire pit thing. So love these chairs. Totally the coastal vibe. But I also massively, massively, massively want the festoon lights. That's been top of my garden wish list for probably 15 years. I did a little bit of it in our last house, but it wasn't a massive garden. We didn't really do it properly. And so part of the reason that I really liked the idea of the porch was to have them strung underneath. The pergola thing, same thing. I can have them strung underneath. And when I was looking up festoon lights and these Adirondack chairs, fire pit comes up constantly. That's a really popular design. And so then I was thinking about where in the garden I could do that. I don't know whether or not I could fit lots of chairs there all the time, but at very least 2, maybe in front of that outdoor building with the fire pit, or we could do 2 straight from the outside of the house with the fire pit on the gravel. It's all coming together. And then I'm just not sure how I'm going to string the lights. We don't really have any mature trees yet. They're going to have to be on poles. Don't love that look, but I'm going to find a way to make it work. There's a little side down the house by the utility, which is kind of like dead space right now. It's kind of storage. And I think there would look really cute. We could do from the side of the shed to the house really easily, but I'm not sure if that's where you would want to sit. So I'm definitely kind of into this. The chairs, the fire pit, the lights, the grasses, the hydrangeas, the white woods. I think we're going to do grey with the fences. I was talking to my neighbour yesterday, and we're both on board with the same kind of theme. And we both like grey. So we're going to add some extra panels because the new build fences weren't great. There were lots of gaps, and we wanted to make it so that it's more of a solid fence. This is going to be a big job because I have to make sure that every single bit of the wood is stained in order to preserve it. And we haven't stained it in 4 years, so it desperately needs to be done. So basically I need to stain the wood that goes onto the fence. I need to stain the wood that is already there, the whole fence. And then I need to stain the wood that's going to go on. And I counted up this morning and it's 70 extra planks of wood. Fun, which I'm probably going to be doing myself. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my plan. And yeah, I just have such an idea of what I want, and I haven't quite decided where everything's going to go yet, but I know the general mood is going to be lots of greens, some white flowers, the lights are massive, and then some cool kind of beachy chairs is the theme. I'm not even sure about a dining area because we don't love to eat outside. I like to kind of like hang out outside on a sunny day or maybe on an evening. If it was just our garden, which it hasn't been. It hasn't really felt like we've had a lot of outdoor space for the last 4 years. It's kind of the equivalent of living in an apartment because the garden backs onto mum and dad's living space. And so that's just kind of an extension of their area, whereas it's going to feel obviously different when it's just ours. So I think I'm most excited about the kitchen, diner, and the garden because that's going to feel like one big space that we didn't have before. The bedroom I'm excited about. I really am. I'm excited to kind of have a different style of room. I was thinking about it last night and it's going to feel surreal because it's going to feel like we're in a hotel. That's actually the plan. I want kind of the hotel vibe anyway, but it's especially going to feel like we're in a hotel because there's an ensuite, which we haven't had for a long time. And when we did have an ensuite, it wasn't a great one. I never wanted to use the shower. Everything was terrible. Whereas this is really good. And there's not going to be a lot of stuff in there because we have other spaces in the house to put it. So it's just going to be bed, side tables, TV, maybe a side chair, maybe a little comfy bedroom chair. So excited. But like I say, you can go and watch the video where I was talking about the bedroom and stuff separately. But the garden I've never been big on gardening, but I'm excited about this. I'm excited to really literally put down roots somewhere and plant some things knowing that I'm actually going to see the fruits of my labor in the next kind of 5 years. If I plant a tree, I'm going to see that tree grow. It's exciting. And it's very, very new to me to think about those things. So yes, hopefully this has been interesting for those of you who were wondering what I was thinking of doing with the garden when I've ever mentioned it, or potentially helpful for those of you who were looking for ideas for your own garden. We have a relatively decent sized garden for a new build house. We've already taken a big chunk of it with the sheds, but it is a good sized space. But it is a new build garden and we've got we're like being overlooked by people. So we're going to be dealing with kind of privacy issues and stuff. So as and when I do go through these things, I'm going to be talking about various methods I'm going to use to make it feel more private. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along with that. And 2020 is definitely going to be a big house improvement or home improvement year for us. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, then make sure you stick around. For now, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!